Hello there, my lovely Misfit fans, and welcome back to another chatty little video. This week has been incredibly busy. As you can see, I got my hair done. I haven't had my hair done in almost a year, just because of due to doctor's appointments and all of that. So it was nice to be able to go back to my red. I am absolutely loving it. I love and missed my red hair. So that got done this week. We had a couple of doctor's appointments this week. My husband had to get some blood work done as well. So we have been running around like crazy, just taking care of a lot of stuff that is check off chore type stuff and not the fun stuff. Which I knew this week would be like that, but it was like, I don't know. There is something about doing just doctor's appointments and just, my hair was fun, but doctor's appointments and that type of stuff, it just drains you after a while. You just get so drained from doing that type of stuff. And there was nothing, like, it was all kind of checkup stuff and just kind of making sure everything was okay. So nothing really stressful, but I don't know what it is, but just that type of stuff is just always really draining. For this week, I do want to say, if you have a question for me for these like let's chat things, leave a comment down below and I might get to one of your questions in the future. This particular let's chat series is just going to be me talking about stuff that's going on or responding to comments. That's kind of what this new setup is going to be about. So for today's agenda, I'm going to respond to one of the comments specifically about health. I'm going to give you a response to that. And then I want to talk about my journey with basically just how I'm kind of exploring and breaking down my art and finding this new art style that I really love. And then the third thing I wanted to talk about was an activity that I am doing currently that is super stupid, super easy, that anyone can do. If you're an absolute beginner, if you have never touched watercolor before, it's something that you can do. Or if you've been painting forever, this particular activity is really, really great for just awakening that creativity that's inside of you with no pressure. There's no mistakes in it. You just kind of go with the flow of that particular activity, and see where it goes and just kind of play around almost like you're a child again and you have no basically box of rules that you're trying to follow. It's basically this thing where you just let it go. So those are the three things I'm going to be talking about today in this particular Let's Chat. So let's first talk about the comment that I received last week. I took a screenshot of it, so I have my phone. And it is right here. And I'll put it up on the screen for y'all. But it says, if you don't mind the question, can you confirm whether the diagnosis you got from the doctor is SIBO? This sounds like what you were discussing, and if it's true, what diet did your doctor suggest to you? So it is SIBO. That's what I was diagnosed with. It's basically small intestine bacterial overgrowth. That's what SIBO is. The diet that she recommended was low FODMAP, and then she recommended I cut sugar, dairy, as well as, there was one other thing, gluten. And this is the reason why this is a hard question to answer about diet-wise. For over a year, I have been keeping an active food journal, and slowly introducing, like if I feel like it's a good week and I'm not having any issues, I will introduce something new that basically I have prepared myself, and usually include one particular ingredient that I am thinking about introducing to see if I have a reaction to it. And so that has been my journey for over a year. With me, when I first figured out I was going to have to keep a food diary, it was very overwhelming. But after a while, it got kind of routine and it really helped me figure out what I could cook and what I couldn't. I pretty much cook everything that I eat right now. And all of it is from raw ingredients. So I can't go to the store and normally get like a salad dressing. I make my own salad dressing. I can't get a barbecue sauce. I make my own barbecue sauce. So basically with this particular thing with me, I'm learning how to cook all of my ingredients and learn what spices I can handle and which ones I can't, and make my own stuff, and then kind of I'm usually taking 1 or 2 days a week and making bulk meals so that I can eat those for the rest of the week. So it's not completely overwhelming when I'm having to cook all of my meals. But anyway, that's kind of a follow-up question to that. As for my own personal journey with finding my own style, recently I have noticed that I have really been enjoying drawing illustrations that are a lot more simplified. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that with my own art journey and how I've kind of broken things down. So a lot of people I've noticed online when they're talking about finding your own artistic style, they usually don't, I have a little notes once again on my phone. They usually just say stuff like find artists that you really like, kind of take notes of them, and usually that's what they say, or like keep a Pinterest board or that type of stuff, which is great advice. But for me, the style that I feel like I'm kind of looking for, is not really out there. Like what I'm seeing in my head is not really, it's close, but it's not fully out there. So I've broken my art kind of journey into several different categories. So the very first thing that I look at is the drawing itself. So I really like classic Winnie the Pooh, that more simplified thing. Also the book of it's like the horse, the boy, the fox, and the mole, I believe is what it is. I really like that simplistic but also more loose style. I really like that type of style, but yet for me personally, I like my drawings to be less loose. So what I basically did is I kind of put together what they were saying in those posts, like look for artists or art styles that you really like. So for me, I really like the Winnie the Pooh classic look, as well as that other style that I just mentioned. But what didn't I like about it? I like how the artists make it very loose looking, but for me personally, I like it when my art is a little bit more structured. So I basically put that down and kind of started creating a list of what I liked with particularly the drawing itself. And then from there, I was like, okay, the next thing I want to look into is what colors do I like? Do I like more of the faded pastel looks? Do I like more of the vibrant type of looks? Do I like more of the earth tone type of looks? And so I started realizing that I like monotone, so one color kind of spectrum art. That's something that I really enjoy, or contrasting colors. So two colors that are opposite on the color wheel. So you can actually see this in my room. I really like yellow and kind of this tealy blue together. That's honestly one of my favorite color combinations. Those are contrasting colors on the color wheel. I really like that color combo. Another thing that I really like is harmonious colors. So colors that are close to one another on the color wheel. So I like to see one color scheme that I really like to see is like a peach with a pink, and then maybe some yellows involved. And see, those are very, very close on the color wheel. So I started noticing I liked specific color schemes. The next thing that I looked into, and I have it down here, I started looking into textures. So specifically textures with mixed media. So in this particular category, I actually started looking at abstract art and figuring out different types of supplies that people would use for abstract art, and if I enjoyed those particular textures or if I didn't. One particular texture that I absolutely love, which I'm going to start adding to my illustrations, is colored pencils. So this particular set right here is the Prismacolor soft core. I specifically like the soft core because they're less scratchy, I guess is the best way to put it, on my paper. So they have a smoother surface on your paper, but I really enjoy seeing colors that are close on like colored pencil lines or details that are on top of watercolor that's already been painted, but the color is either a little bit lighter or a little bit darker, just adding a hint of detail or texture. I really enjoy that. I also really enjoy ink pens. I've been adding a lot more colored ink pens into my watercolors. And I really like using, and of course I've talked about this a lot in the past, I really like when you add watercolor concentrates to your watercolors. So the specific line that I like is the P.H. Martin's Radiant watercolors, just because they mix really well and create very smooth layers of color on your paper. But they are not light fast. So typically what I will do is to kind of work around that is I will take a concentrate that is not light fast, kind of try and match it to a pigment color that I have that is light fast, and then mix those two together. So one color is turquoise blue from the P.H. Martin's Radiant watercolor line. That works really well with Winsor Blue Green. Sometimes I will mix those two together to help, and I mean when I say mix those two together, I'm putting like one drop of the concentrate onto my already wet watercolor paint, and I will mix those two together to help the color kind of go over the paper in a smoother manner, which is what I like. But it also adds a little pump of that bright, vibrant color from the concentrate. However, I have tested this out. I've mixed my colors and put them in the sun for over 6 months, and they have slightly lightened, but not to the degree if you are only using the concentrates. And basically, since I'm mixing the two together, it has helped with the light fastness because I'm choosing light fast colors from my watercolor paints and mixing them with the watercolor concentrates. So that's kind of been a way that I've been getting around that and adding textures to it. The last thing I want to talk about is details. So this is the last category that I have been looking into. I've looked at other artists and how much detail they add to their art, and then try and figure out, do I like when there's more detail? So do I like when I see a lot of texture in the fur? So specifically using light colored pencils. and adding a lot of texture to fur, or do I like it more of a smooth kind of gradient texture with just little bits of detail to it? For me personally, I really like the less detail, I noticed. For a while, I thought I liked more, and I think it's because growing up, this idea of trying to go as close to photorealism was highly pressurized onto me, and so I never really enjoyed photorealism. But when I went into more of my illustration stuff, I tried to kind of still incorporate that idea into my illustrations, and I'm noticing now I don't really like that. I like still the idea of more of a simplified, basically version of that. So that's the 4 categories that I started really breaking down and asking questions to kind of gear me, because I noticed for me, first off, I've been doing art forever. So I have been doing drawing since I was very, very young, so almost 40 years. And then I have been doing watercolor for 30 years. And so I kind of have a good idea, basically, of, I would say, how I can do my art. So that is another factor, like what comes more naturally to you. But for me, I needed to break down even further, what do I actually like for my art? So I broke it down into what's the core drawing look like, what colors do I enjoy, what textures do I like, and then what final details do I like, a lot of detail or a little bit of detail. So that's kind of been my overall exploration for art journey here. I wanted to share with you the last thing. And first off, I absolutely love these journals. I got this on Amazon, and y'all saw me do my little owl study in one of these. And I love that the hot press paper is super smooth, but at the same time, it really absorbs color. But as you can see, I created specifically one particular journal. So I have 2. I have one over there that is all illustration and me trying to just kind of play around with different animals and different ways of drawing animals and just even people, just trying to figure out drawing wise what I enjoy. But for this particular journal, I wanted to set it completely aside and just do abstract art in it. And this is basically the first abstract art that I played around with. So as you can see, I got my orange and yellow and blue going with that. And basically what I do is I put, no lie, I put basically paint on the paper. I don't even like put it on my watercolor palette type stuff or mixing tray. I literally take paint directly from the tube, just put little dollops of paint on the paper and then mix them together. So I have no control over this particular painting whatsoever. And this is the like stupidly dumb thing that you can do, but it's so helpful to get you out of that I have to be precise and I have to be exact when I'm painting. So basically what I did is I put watercolor paint down on the paper, and then I let that dry. I actually used some masking fluid in this particular thing. That's where all the little circles are. That's masking fluid that I added. But the whole point of this was to play around with different supplies. So once I took off that masking fluid, I started playing around with what types of ink pens do I like on this? What type of colored pencils do I like on this? What type of gouache do I like on this? Do I like adding more watercolor on top and glazing that on top? And basically this whole painting was me playing around with the two things that I was really exploring when trying to figure out my artistic style, which is color, texture, as well as detail. So 3 things. And this forced me to get away from an illustration type of painting and really just play around with the paints, see what they did on the paper, and just play around with textures as well as different supplies and really let loose. So that was the whole point of this particular thing. I only have 1 painting in here so far. I need to do another one because I'm actually, I want to play around with fox colors because I have a little fox drawing over there that's super simplified. I love the drawing, but I want to play around with colors that would maybe be laid on top of that fox illustration, and then play around with different textures. Like, what kind of pencils do I like with those colors? What kind of ink pens do I like with those colors? And that is basically what this entire notebook is. This is a trash notebook. It looks all nice with the little stickers that I put on top. I got these little puff gold letter stickers from Michaels, but the whole point of this journal is to trash it. I want to just experiment once a week with different colors and also with different supplies that go along with those particular colors, and kind of just push myself to think outside the box and not worry about rules. So hopefully that is and my camera just died. So hopefully that is a helpful little tidbit of different things that I have been processing through for the past week. And also an answer to one of your questions from the last video. So once again, if you want me to answer any questions, it can be pretty much anything that you're curious about. Go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'll tell you what. If you don't want to leave a comment down below, go ahead and put down an emoji of the favorite place that you would love to vacation to. Because I was actually having a conversation with my hairstylist this week. She was asking me, basically, am I a mountain person or am I a beach person? And I was like, beach all the way. I love the beach. So if I could go on a vacation right now and go to the beach, I would love the beach right now. But leave an emoji down below for if you would rather go to the beach or rather go to the mountains or go someplace else. Maybe you want to go see dolphins and you'll put a dolphin emoji or something like that. So anyway, lots of love, y'all. I hope you're having a fantastic week, and that is it for this particular Let's Chat with Carrie week. Hey y'all, it's Carrie here in the future editing this video. I wanted to let you know, if you wanted to learn how I painted that abstract painting inside of my journal that I showed in this video, I actually did get a little mini tutorial put together inside of Watercolor Misfit Land. So I'll make sure to link that down below if you are interested in that. It's going to be free. It's just going to be like a little blog post. And I'll make sure also to link all the supplies that I used for that particular painting. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check it out. And until then, I'll let you watch my little fur babies play outside and have themselves a ball.